the author of the Scriptures. So what we have here is the greatest person in existence, taking the greatest book in existence, and looking through the whole scope of it and picking out the greatest commandment in there. It is first, it is greatest, it is the summary, and every single thing in the Bible depends on it, hangs from it. Joy in the Lord is a result of loving God. And so if there's no joy, that means there's no delight. And if there's no delight, that means there's no love. And if there's no love, that means you're breaking the greatest commandment, which means you're committing the greatest sin. The greatest person ever looked at the greatest book and picked out the greatest command, and that command is that we love our God with all of our thoughts, all of our words, all of our action, all of our will and resolve, and also with all our affections and emotions and desires and feelings. Every part. Love is more than a feeling, but it's not less than a feeling. Love for God is not acceptable if it only comes from one portion of your being. We reduce love for God down to only emotion and emphasize feeling to the exclusion of responsibility to will and to act like the world does. We destroy love. And the people who do that, the people in the church who are just real emotional, and they're always crying and they're talking to God and everything, and they're just really emotionally wrapped up, but they don't have any action. They don't have any obedience in their life. Those are the ones who run the risk of hearing those dreadful words on Judgment Day, "You wicked, lazy servant, throw that worthless servant out into the darkness where there'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth." You don't want to arrive at Judgment Day and have a whole lot of feeling and no deeds. But the people who err on the other side, and they have lots and lots of deeds, but no passion, that's in the direction of, that's a kind of legalism. And anything that moves us in the direction of external conformity without internal passion risks ending up, having us end up like those people we talked about a couple weeks ago who had the big, impressive, Christ-centered ministries and heard those other dreadful words on Judgment Day, "Apart from me, I never knew you." Works are important, no question about that. We must love God with all our strength and all our ability. So work is mentioned, but it's mentioned last. It's not mentioned first. What's mentioned first is the heart, because works have no meaning unless they come from the heart. They only have meaning in as much as they come from the inside. The most famous description of love ever is the love chapter. Paul wrote it. You know what it is. What is it? It's 1 Corinthians 13. Right. Read at every wedding. The first thing Paul does in the great love chapter is destroy this idea that love is just commitment and service and giving. He destroys it. 1 Corinthians 13:3. He says, "If I give all I possess to the poor," is that giving? That's giving. "If I surrender my body to the flames," is that commitment to Christ? Yeah, that's commitment. "If I do all that but have not love, I gain nothing." If the definition of agape is self-sacrificial giving, then it would be nonsense to talk about giving everything to the poor and not having love. That would be impossible. If the definition of love is devotion to Christ, commitment to Christ, then dying as a martyr in the flames without love would be impossible, because by definition that would be love. But Paul says, no, you can do all of that and still not have love. The church in the city of Ephesus, in Revelation chapter 2, was rebuked by the Lord for having forsaken their first love. They forsook love. And at the same time, Jesus praises them for their commitment and obedience and hard work. Revelation 2:1, "I know your deeds, your hard work, and your perseverance. Yet I hold this against you, you have forsaken your first love."